Hi, this is Kelly. Welcome to my channel. Today we have the GingerDEAD. So I've got this little house. It came from Joann's, I believe, before they closed down. And I've got some baking soda here in this folk art matte paint in the color cinnamon. It turned out to be absolutely perfect for a gingerbread color. If I can get it out of the daggone bottle here. And we're going to mix roughly equal parts paint and baking soda. And if you get to mixing it and it's too thick, clumpy, just add a little more paint. It's no big deal. But it's roughly one part of each. And a little popsicle stick and just start stirring it together. And right there, you see that is too thick. I end up adding some more paint. And then once we added some more paint, mixed it, we just have thick paint. So I'm taking my brush and I'm basically dabbing it on. I'm not really brushing it, dabbing it, because you try to brush it, you're not going to get the same texture. And now I'm doing a second coat. And I have a different brush, because this brush is kind of frayed, wider. It's better for pouncing it on. You could use a little sponge pouncer if you wanted. So yeah, I ended up doing 2 coats, and here's what it looks like. It looks just like gingerbread. I got this little jar of mini tombstones from Michael's after Halloween sale, and painted them with this textured paint. It's a lighter texture than the baking soda, because I didn't want to lose any detail. Now that ends up not mattering later, you'll see, but I paint a coat of that on, and once that's dry, I paint the cinnamon. And I'm just going to take this Dollar Tree cutting board and paint it black. That'll be my base. And there you see I'm painting the cinnamon color. Then it'll have similar texture to the house, but you won't lose the detail. It had that little skull and crossbone on there. And then we're going to take, my textured paint is a folk art terracotta is the name of it. And this color is concrete. And I made this little mini coffin out of cardboard and put a little felt snowflake on it. And I'm doing the same thing. Paint it with the texture paint and then add the color. So now I'm making icing snow with my glue gun here. And you see the 3 of them sitting on the cutting board. I've already done 3 and I'm showing you how I did it. And basically I run a line of glue, then come down from it. And as you're coming down with the icicles, if that's what you want to call them, you let go of the trigger as you come down. That one came out a little too skinny. I'm just showing you how I did it. And these I made for the front of the gable, so they're gonna slope, and I'll show you how I did those. I'm happy with the 2 there, and they're already cooled and ready to go. And you do this on a silicone mat and they pop right off once they're dry. And you see how I'm coming down in that direction, and here's how they're going to fit on my house. And it's starting to make a little bit of sense to you, I hope. And then these little pieces will go across that front bottom edge. Now I'm going to dry brush a little black all over the entire house. I do come back later and darken it a little more, but to start with I want to go ahead and do a black dry brush. These are popsicle sticks. I took my scissors and split them into these little planks, and these are going to be used to board up the windows. And I don't worry about texture in these. I just dab on some of the cinnamon colored paint. We want everything to look like the gingerbread. Then I take the textured paint, the concrete colored paint, and dab on that skull and crossbone detail to bring that out, and dab it here and there. It's like it's kind of concrete, kind of gingerbread. And then later, I don't show it, I also dry brush just a little bit of black. The same way, I kind of pounce it on here and there to distress it. And then here's my coffin. The snowflake, it's this ribbon I got last year. And it's little felt snowflakes. But I've never been able to quite use it as ribbon, but I use the little pieces. It works too. So you see all my little tombstones and coffin are done. All my little planks are painted. And you see off to the side on the plate is my hot glue snow. And what I paint that with, what is this white called? This is the folk art white Adirondack, but any bright white will work. And I'm going to distress that with a little bit of black too, because it's haunted. It's, you know, it's rotten icing. So I'm just going to hot glue these little planks in place to look like the windows are boarded up. I kind of need to cover up the little heart shapes cut out in there, you know. And we're going to board up a couple windows here. Just kind of put them in different directions here and there. Willy-nilly, as they say. Put some on the other side. Thank you guys for being here with me today. I sure am enjoying this Gothic Christmas. This is so much fun. I'm sure enjoying it. I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. All your comments and your likes, and I'm growing. I'm up to 36, 70-ish subs now, and it's just, I'm just having so much fun. I'm not getting the views I was before Halloween came and went, but that's okay. I expected that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. But yeah, I'm still growing, just a little slower. It's pretty awesome. So I just take this little skull, I'm just going to glue him over there. Why not? We got to have a skull. And these little Dollar Tree stickers, I thought a little black cat silhouette would be cute right on the front. Just stick him on the door there. And I've got these little skeleton arms. They came off a little skeleton garland, little tiny skeletons from, I think, Dollar General. And I'm going to stick one between the planks here, looking like something's trying to get out. So, back to the little tombstones. I came across these little tiny gingerbread men at Hobby Lobby, and I'm like, you know what? I'm putting them on the other side of the tombstone. So the skull and crossbones are now on the back of the tombstone. But I just thought, oh, I have to do this. So I just take my cinnamon paint and dab that right over the gingerbread men, because they have little painted details, and I wanted to have the same look as everything else. And once that's dry, there's my textured concrete color paint. I'm going to dab that on there, here and there, to pick up the details. So these little peppermints I got from Hobby Lobby, they came on like a little string, so that little hoop, I had to snip that off, and I'm going to distress these with black paint. Now, I discovered later by accident they can be split in half. Here you go. See that? I was like, hey, look at that. So, they were so tall, and I was like, how am I going to make this look right? Well, I just split them in half. So, I decided to glue one over the little window with a little color. You got to have candy on the front of your gingerbread house, whether it's haunted or not. These little lollipops, I think these are great. These also came from Hobby Lobby. And of course, we're going to distress them with some black chalk paint. And I don't use the blue one, I just use the red and green ones. And I use them for little trees. So here we go. I mentioned earlier that I darken the edges a little bit with the black chalk paint. So I want that a little darker, because that's going to be showing up under my snow that I put on the roof here in a little bit. So now I'd go ahead and glue my house down to my base. And you see the back of the house, it did come with a light already in it, so it already lights up, which is nice. And I created a base on my silicone mat. I just put a nice pile of hot glue, because I wanted the trees to be at a little bit of a slant, and just held it in place in the hot glue until it was set. It was a pain in the butt, but it worked. To give me something to glue it with, you know, make contact with to glue it. And the rest of my little candies, again, I split them in half, so I didn't have to worry about them being so tall. Glued them to the board, and now the tombstones. So they still have the skull and crossbone on the back, but now they have the little gingerbread men on the front. I just think that's the cutest little detail. And I got this little bitty piece of scrap wood. I want to raise the coffin up a little bit so it's not just sitting flat. Slap a little black paint on it, because we're gonna do some black Spanish moss around all this in the front yard. And we get that in place. Too cute. So now I've got a little Mod Podge, and this is fake snow that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm just gonna strategically take the Mod Podge and the snow and put it like on top of the little lollipop trees, on top of the tombstones. And so I'm going to just dab glue here and there, not completely cover the walking path. I don't want to cover up that it's supposed to be peppermints. And I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle that on, and then I kind of press it down a little bit. And there you see there, I brushed off the excess. And now I'm going to take my black Spanish moss and glue it, you know, kind of carefully in between everything so that it doesn't cover everything up. And then I go back later with scissors, my little bitty scissors, and trim all the extra that's, you know, laying over top of everything, because you want to be able to see it. So here on my silicone mat, I've made this sheet, if you will, of snow, icing, snow, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just taking my hot glue and going back and forth. And I'm kind of guessing these are going to go on the front of the roof. And I'm kind of guessing how they're going to fit and what shape they'd be. And then it's very easy to take small scissors and trim it to fit. And you see that's where they're going to go. Now we're painting them also with the Adirondack white. And I did have to do a couple of coats. So now I'm very lightly distressing the snow with the black. And you see on the plate I've got red and green candies. I also made those out of hot glue. Just made a circle on the mat, let it dry, and painted them red and green, and also of course distressed them with black. So here's where we are so far. I've glued the back piece of snow, on the back of the roof, the piece of the sheet of snow, whatever you want to call it. And I'm initially going to spread some tacky glue on the back of it and get it in place. I didn't want to try to do hot glue on the whole thing. It would have made a mess. Then across the top, I'm just taking the nozzle of my heat gun and remelting the back of the glue so that that will go, glue down immediately. And also any edges are sticking up, I did the same there. Did the same thing there. And where the glue was kind of oozing out, I took that little brush and cleaned that up. And then I got two little pieces I made for the gables, and we're just doing the exact same thing. Tacky glue, and then melt the top edge and anything sticking up once you get it on there. And then my pieces for the front of the gable, just carefully adding a really thin line of hot glue and get that in place. This really makes it. It was kind of looking boring until I got the snow on. I was like, that does look pretty cool. And I got lucky. I got lucky that those two pieces I made actually fit that nice. So, and then these little pieces, I had to kind of put them in place and trim them a little bit to get them to fit on there, so that we have some snow melting off the front, or icicles, or whatever you want to call it. And here's where we're at. Now the little candies I made, it needed a little more color on the front. It needed a little more candy, if you will. So these could be like, mock M&Ms or something like that. And now I'm going to put a few critters on here. Got a little spider, put it on the coffin. Put a spider on this tombstone. Got a whole bunch of these little tiny spiders and bats. I think I got them from Amazon. And I got a big spider. I'm going to put him on the roof. And this bigger spider has like a little bitty nub on the bottom. So I'm going to put the glue on that and kind of try to get it between the snow on the roof there. Get him on there. And also put a bat on the other side of the roof and on one of the lollipop trees. So now I'm going to take my faux snow and just sprinkle it here and there. It's kind of hard to see in this video. It looks so busy like that. And this is pretty much done. I sprinkled a little bit on the top as well. And sprinkled some on top of the little planks boarding up the windows. And this is done. And here's my reveal. Thank you guys again for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure enjoyed creating this project. Let me know in the comments any decorating tips for your haunted gingerbread house. Don't forget to like and share and all the things. Bye.